Hello, everyone. Today, we'll talk about how to learn English. Learning English can be fun and easy if you follow some simple steps. Let me share some tips to help you. Listen to English every day. When I was young, I didn't know English, and it made me feel scared. But I started listening to English stories, and slowly, I began to understand more. Listening helps you learn new words and how to pronounce them correctly. Practice speaking daily. When I was learning, I spoke English even when I made mistakes. Mistakes are part of the process and help you improve, so don't be afraid to speak. Read regularly. Reading is also important. Start with simple books, especially ones with pictures, as they make it easier to understand. As you read, you'll learn new words and how to use them in sentences. Write often. Writing is another excellent way to practice. Write about your day, your family, or anything you like. The more you write, the better you will get. I used to write in a small notebook every day. Watch videos. Watching videos is fun and helpful. You can watch cartoons, movies, or TV shows to hear how people speak and to pick up new vocabulary. I remember watching a cartoon about a funny dog, and I learned many new words from it. Talk to others. Find friends who speak English and practice with them. If you don't have anyone nearby, you can talk to people online. I had a friend who corrected my mistakes, and it helped a lot. Be patient and persistent. Learning English takes time. Don't give up, even when it feels difficult. Keep trying, and you'll improve step by step. Use a dictionary. Every time you hear a new word, look it up in a dictionary and try to use it in a sentence. A dictionary is a very useful tool for learning. Play games in English. Learning through games is both fun and effective. You can play word games or quizzes. I used to play a game with my friends where we'd try to find as many English words as possible. Think in English. At first, thinking in English might be hard, but it becomes easier with practice. Thinking in English helps you form sentences faster and improves your fluency. Set goals. Start with small, achievable goals, like learning 5 new words a day or reading 1 page of a book. Reaching your goals will make you feel proud and motivated. Review what you've learned. Go over your notes. Listen to a story again, or review vocabulary regularly. Reviewing helps you remember better. Stay positive. Learning can be challenging, but staying positive makes it easier. Believe in yourself, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're a natural part of learning. Keep practicing. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Enjoy the process and stay consistent. Why is listening so important? Listening is one of the most effective ways to learn English. When I started, I didn't understand everything, but I listened every day. Gradually, I understood more and more. Listening helps you hear new words and how they're pronounced. Learn how sentences are formed. Improve your overall understanding and speaking skills. You don't always have to read books to learn. You can listen to stories, songs, or even the news in English. The more you listen, the faster you'll improve. I started by listening to stories. The stories were simple at first, but they helped me understand the language better. I listened every day, even if I didn't understand everything. Over time, the words started to make sense. One thing I learned was that listening helps improve your speaking skills too. When you listen carefully, you learn how to pronounce words correctly. You also hear the rhythm of the language, which helps you sound more natural when you speak. Listening and speaking go hand in hand. If you want to speak English well, you need to listen a lot. There are many ways to practice listening. Songs. You can listen to English songs. Songs are a fun way to learn new words and understand the rhythm of the language. When I first listened to English songs, I didn't always know the meaning of every word, but I kept listening. After a while, I learned the words and could understand the songs better. Cartoons or TV shows. Another good way to practice listening is by watching TV shows or cartoons. Cartoons are great because they often use simple language, and the pictures help you understand what's happening. I remember watching a cartoon about a dog who went on many adventures. It was funny, and I learned many new words from it. The news. You can also listen to the news in English. The news can be harder to understand at first, but it's a good challenge. If you don't understand everything, don't worry, just keep listening. Over time, you'll get better. Start with short news stories and listen to them repeatedly to understand more. Podcasts. Listening to podcasts is another excellent way to practice. There are many podcasts made specifically for English learners. They speak slowly and clearly, making it easier to understand. I listened to a lot of podcasts when I was learning. They were helpful because I could listen to them anywhere, while walking, cleaning, or cooking. You can find podcasts on topics that interest you, like sports, food, or travel, which makes learning more enjoyable. When you listen, it's also helpful to take notes. Write down new words you hear, try to remember them, and use them in sentences. This will help you keep track of your learning. If you don't understand a word, look it up in the dictionary. Once you know the meaning, try to use it when you speak or write. Another useful technique is to listen to the same story or song multiple times. When you listen again, you notice things you didn't catch the first time. This helps you remember words and understand them better. Don't be afraid to repeat the same material. It will help you improve faster. Sometimes, it's hard to understand everything in English, especially in the beginning. But don't give up. Keep listening, and it will become easier over time. When I started learning English, I didn't understand much, but I kept listening. Gradually, it became easier, and I started to understand more. If you feel frustrated because you don't understand, remember that learning takes time. It's okay if you don't get everything right away. Keep practicing. The more you listen, the more you'll understand, and the easier speaking and writing will become. Listening helps you in many ways. It improves your vocabulary, teaches you how words are used in sentences, and helps you learn the correct pronunciation. So, make listening a daily habit. Even just a few minutes every day can make a big difference. If you listen to English every day, you will improve, slowly but surely. Remember, it's okay if you don't understand everything right away. Just keep going, and you will get better. In the next chapter, we will talk about another important part of learning English, speaking. But for now, focus on listening. Listen to English as much as you can, and soon, you will feel more confident in understanding the language. Thank you for reading. Keep listening and enjoy learning English. Chapter 3. The Importance of Speaking. Hello, everyone. In this chapter, we will talk about speaking. Speaking is one of the most important parts of learning English. When you speak, you practice using the words you know. It helps you get better at understanding and using English in real-life situations. When I was learning English, I was afraid to speak. I was scared of making mistakes. But I learned that mistakes are okay. They're a natural part of learning. The more you speak, the better you will get. So don't be afraid to speak English, even if you make mistakes. The first step to speaking English is to practice every day. You don't need to speak for hours. Just a few minutes each day will help you improve. When I was learning, I practiced by speaking out loud. I spoke to myself and with others, and it helped me get used to using English. Try to speak even when you don't know the right words. If you don't know a word, try to explain it in a different way. You can use simple words. For example, if you don't know the word apple, you can say, "It's a red fruit." Speaking helps you think faster in English, and it also helps you remember new words. Find someone to practice with. If you don't have friends who speak English, you can find language partners online. There are many websites and apps where you can meet people who want to practice English. I had a friend who spoke English very well. We talked every day, and she helped me with my mistakes. Talking to her made me feel more confident. When you talk to someone, don't worry about making mistakes. People understand that you are learning, and they will help you. They won't laugh at you. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a new language. So don't be afraid. If you make a mistake, just correct it and keep going. Another way to practice speaking is by repeating sentences. If you hear a sentence in a song, movie, or podcast, repeat it. This will help you remember how to say the words correctly. You can even repeat the sentences multiple times. The more you repeat, the better you will get at speaking. You can also try role-playing. For example, you can pretend to order food in a restaurant or ask for directions. If you don't have a partner to role-play with, you can do it by yourself. Imagine you are talking to someone and practice what you would say. This will help you feel more comfortable when you actually speak to someone in English. Sometimes, it can be hard to find someone to talk to in English, but don't worry, you can talk to yourself. It may feel strange at first, but talking to yourself is a great way to practice. You can practice by describing what you did during the day or talking about your plans for tomorrow. One of the most important things is to be patient. When I was learning English, it took time before I could speak well. It doesn't happen overnight, so don't rush. Keep practicing, and you will get better. If you make a mistake, don't be upset. It's normal, and you will learn from it. You can also join English-speaking groups. Many communities have groups where people meet to practice English. You can find these groups online or in your area. Talking with others who are learning English can help you feel less nervous. You can learn together and share tips. Another tip is to listen to the way people speak. When you listen to native English speakers, you can learn how to speak more naturally. Notice how they say words, their tone, and their rhythm. This will help you sound more fluent. You can learn a lot just by listening to how others speak. Reading out loud is also a great way to practice speaking. Pick a simple book or article and read it out loud. This helps you practice pronunciation and become more comfortable speaking in English. The more you read out loud, the more you will improve. If you are shy, you can start by speaking in front of a mirror. Look at yourself while you speak. This will help you become more comfortable with speaking English and is a good way to practice without feeling nervous. Another excellent way to practice speaking is through video calls. If you can find someone to talk to, try video chatting. You will practice both speaking and listening at the same time. It's also a fun way to learn because you can see the other person's face and body language. Make sure to set small speaking goals for yourself. For example, try to speak for 5 minutes every day, and gradually increase this over time. The more you speak, the easier it will become. When I was learning, I started by speaking for just a few minutes a day. Over time, I spoke more and more. Remember, everyone learns at their own pace. Some people may learn faster than others, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep trying. The more you practice, the better you will become. One final tip is to enjoy speaking. Don't make it feel like a chore. Speaking should be fun. When I was learning, I tried to talk about things I enjoyed. I talked about my favorite movies, my hobbies, and my dreams. Speaking about topics you like makes learning easier and more enjoyable. So, keep practicing, speak every day, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. You are learning, and every mistake helps you improve. Keep trying, and soon you will speak English confidently. Thank you for reading. Keep practicing, and you will get better at speaking English every day. Chapter 4. The Power of Reading. Hello again. In this chapter, we will talk about reading. Reading is another very important way to learn English. It helps you improve your vocabulary, understand grammar, and learn how sentences are formed. Reading also boosts your confidence in English. When I was learning English, I started with simple books. At first, it was hard because I didn't know many words, but I didn't give up. I kept reading every day, even if I didn't understand everything. Slowly, I began to understand more and more. Reading helps you learn new words. When you read, you see words in different sentences and learn how they are used in real situations. If you don't know a word, don't worry. You can try to guess its meaning from the context. If you can't guess, look it up in a dictionary. This will help you remember the word. Start with books that are easy for you. You can begin with children's books or simple short stories. These books often have pictures, which make it easier to understand the meaning. The pictures help you guess what is happening in the story. I used to read books with pictures, and it made learning more fun. As you read, try to read out loud. Reading out loud helps you practice your pronunciation, making your speech clearer and helping you remember words better. I used to read stories out loud to myself, and it helped me understand the words and say them correctly. Reading also improves your writing skills. When you read, you see how sentences are built and learn how to organize words to create good sentences. The more you read, the better you will write. You can even try writing your own sentences using the new words you learn from reading. If you're just starting out, don't feel bad if you don't understand everything. It's normal to not know all the words at first. Keep going, and it will become easier. The more you practice reading, the better you will get. Another tip is to choose books that you enjoy. If you like stories about animals, find books about animals. If you're interested in sports, read books about sports. When you read about things you like, learning becomes more fun. It also helps you remember the words better because they are related to topics you enjoy. You can also try reading English websites, blogs, or magazines. These are great ways to learn everyday English. The language used on websites and blogs is often simple and easy to understand. Start with short articles, and as you improve, move on to longer and more challenging ones. If you don't have many English books, don't worry. You can find plenty of free books and stories online. There are also apps designed for English learners that provide books step by step. These apps are great because they guide you through the learning process. One important thing is to read every day. Even if you just read one page, it will help you improve. The more you read, the more you will learn. Try to make reading a daily habit. I read for just 10 minutes every day. Over time, I read more and more, and it made me feel more confident in English. Sometimes, you might feel frustrated if you don't understand a word or a sentence. That's okay. Don't stop reading just because it's hard. Keep going, and you will get better. It's normal to not understand everything at first. The important thing is to keep reading. As you continue, you will learn a lot of new words. Try to use the words you learn in your own speaking and writing. This will help you remember them better. When you read, focus on understanding the meaning of the whole sentence, not just individual words. The sentence provides context, and understanding the bigger picture will help you improve faster. You can also try reading books in English with audio. These books read the story to you while you follow along. It's a great way to improve both your listening and reading skills. You can hear how words are pronounced and see them written at the same time. It's like learning in two ways. Another helpful method is reading ebooks. With ebooks, you can often click on words to see their meanings. This makes learning easier because you don't have to stop reading to look up a word in a dictionary. It helps you keep going without losing your place. Don't worry if you can't read fast. It's not important to read quickly. What matters is understanding the story and learning new words. Take your time and enjoy reading. Reading slowly will help you learn more and remember better. When I was learning, I also wrote down the new words I discovered from reading. I kept a small notebook with new words and their meanings. Every time I found a new word, I wrote it down and tried to use it in my own sentences. This helped me remember the words and understand how they were used. Reading is a wonderful way to improve your English. It's fun, and it helps you learn a lot. Remember to start with easy books, read every day, and enjoy the process. Keep reading, and soon you'll see how much better your English becomes. Thank you for reading this chapter. I hope it helps you enjoy reading in English. Keep practicing, and you will continue to improve. Chapter 5. The Importance of Writing. Hello, everyone. In this chapter, we will talk about writing. Writing is another key part of learning English. It helps you practice the words and sentences you've learned. When you write, you use the language in a different way, and it also helps you remember what you've learned. When I was learning English, I started writing every day. At first, it was difficult. I made many mistakes, but I didn't stop. I wrote simple sentences and short stories, and slowly, I improved. Writing every day helped me get better. Start by writing small things. You can write about your day. For example, write about what you did in the morning, afternoon, or evening. You can also write about your family, friends, or favorite things. The key is to write every day. Writing helps you practice your grammar. When you write, you pay attention to how sentences are formed. You also learn how to use punctuation, like periods, commas, and question marks. The more you write, the better you get at using grammar correctly. At first, don't worry about making mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Everyone makes mistakes when they are learning a new language. The important thing is to keep writing. If you make a mistake, just correct it and keep going. Writing helps you see where you need to improve. Another way to practice writing is by keeping a journal. A journal is a place where you can write your thoughts and ideas. You can write about anything you want. It's your space to practice English. I used to write in my journal every day. I wrote about my feelings, dreams, and anything I wanted to remember. It helped me practice and improve my writing. You can also try writing short stories. Start with simple stories. Write about something you know well. It could be a story about a trip you took or something funny that happened. Writing stories will help you use the words you know in a creative way, and it will also make writing more fun. Another great way to practice writing is by writing letters or emails. You can write letters to your friends or family in English. If you don't have anyone to write to, you can even write to yourself. Writing letters is a good way to practice sentence structure and vocabulary. One important step is to read what you write. After you finish writing, go back and read it. This will help you spot any mistakes and improve your writing skills. You can make corrections and think about how to write better next time. You can also try writing with a friend. If you have a friend who is also learning English, you can write letters or messages to each other. You can help each other correct mistakes and learn new words. Writing with someone else makes it more fun and less lonely. If you don't know what to write about, don't worry. You can write about your favorite hobbies, your favorite food, or even your dreams for the future. Writing about things you enjoy makes it easier to learn new words and use them in sentences. When I was learning English, I made a list of new words I learned. I wrote these words down and tried to use them in my writing. This helped me remember the words better and use them in different ways. You can do the same. Make a list of new words and try to include them in your writing. Writing is also a great way to practice spelling. When you write, you need to spell words correctly. If you don't know how to spell a word, look it up. You can use a dictionary or an app to help you. The more you write, the better your spelling will become. You can also try writing using different tenses. For example, you can write in the past tense, present tense, or future tense. Writing in different tenses will help you practice using verbs correctly. Start with simple sentences like, I went to the park, past tense. I will visit my friend tomorrow, future tense. Another way to improve your writing is by reading what you've written aloud. When you read your writing out loud, you'll hear if something sounds strange or incorrect. It's also a good way to practice pronunciation and improve your writing at the same time. One fun way to practice writing is by describing what you see. For example, if you're walking outside, write about what you notice around you. Describe the weather, the people, the buildings, or anything else you observe. This will help you practice using new words and describing things in English. As you keep writing, you'll notice your sentences getting longer and better. You'll be able to use more complex words and phrases. Writing helps you think in English and practice putting your thoughts into words. Don't be afraid to make mistakes while writing. It's normal to make mistakes, and it's one of the best ways to learn. The most important thing is to keep writing. The more you write, the better you will become. I promise you will improve. If you feel like your writing isn't good enough, don't worry, it takes time to become a good writer. Keep practicing, and soon you'll see how much you've improved. So, start writing every day. Write about anything that interests you. Use new words, practice your grammar, and have fun with it. The more you write, the better you'll get at expressing yourself in English. Thank you for reading this chapter. I hope it helps you feel more confident about writing in English. Keep practicing, and soon writing will feel easy and natural. Chapter 6. Speaking English with Confidence. Hello again. In this chapter, we'll talk about speaking English. Speaking is very important because it helps you communicate with others. When you speak English, you use what you've learned, and it helps you get better at the language. When I was learning English, I was very shy. I didn't want to make mistakes, so I didn't speak much. But I soon realized that making mistakes is a natural part of learning. Everyone makes mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. The important thing is to speak and practice. If you want to speak English well, you need to practice every day. The more you speak, the better you will get. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. What matters is that you keep trying. When I started learning, I made it a habit to speak in English every day, even if it was just a few words. Slowly, I became more confident. You can start by speaking to yourself. This might sound strange, but it's a great way to practice. For example, when you wake up in the morning, try saying simple sentences in English, like, "I am happy today. I will eat breakfast now." This helps you get comfortable with speaking in English. Another way to practice is by talking to friends. If you have friends who speak English, try speaking with them, even if your English isn't perfect. Your friends will understand and help you improve. When I was learning, I spoke with my friends in English every chance I got, and it helped me a lot. If you don't have friends who speak English, don't worry. You can find people online. There are many websites and apps where you can meet others who want to practice English. You can chat with them or even have video calls. This is a fantastic way to improve your speaking skills. When you speak English, try to speak slowly and clearly. Don't rush. What matters is being understood, not speaking quickly. Speak at your own pace and take your time. If you don't know a word, it's okay. You can use other words to explain what you mean. Don't be afraid to try. Another tip is to listen to native English speakers. When you listen, you'll learn how to pronounce words correctly and use them naturally. You can listen to English movies, songs, or podcasts. Try to repeat what you hear. This will help you improve both your pronunciation and fluency. If there are words or sounds that are hard for you to say, practice them repeatedly. For example, if you have trouble with the th sound in words like think or that, practice saying those words again and again. The more you practice, the easier it will become. You can also use online videos that focus on pronunciation for extra help. Sometimes speaking can feel difficult, but don't give up. Even if you make mistakes, keep talking. Over time, you'll feel more comfortable and confident speaking in English. It's also helpful to practice speaking in different situations. For example, you can practice speaking English at a store, in a restaurant, or when asking for directions. These real-life situations will help you feel more prepared when you need to use English in daily life. If you feel nervous, remember that it's normal. Everyone feels nervous sometimes, even people who are fluent in English were once beginners like you. They made mistakes, too. The key is to keep practicing, and with time, you'll feel more confident. One thing that helped me was joining an English speaking group. There are many groups, both online and in person, where people gather to practice speaking English. It's a great way to meet new people, practice speaking, and learn new words. Don't be shy. Many groups are designed for beginners, so you won't feel out of place. Another way to practice speaking is by reading out loud. Take a book or story and read it aloud. This will help you improve your pronunciation and get used to forming sentences in English. You can also try reading dialogues from a movie or TV show. Pretend you're one of the characters and speak like them. It's a fun and effective way to practice. Lastly, don't be afraid to ask questions when you don't understand something. Asking questions is an important part of learning. It shows that you're curious and willing to improve new words and how to pronounce them correctly. Reading out loud allows you to hear yourself and notice if something doesn't sound right. This is a great way to practice both reading and speaking at the same time. When you come across a word you don't understand, don't worry. Try to guess its meaning by looking at the whole sentence. The sentence gives you context, which can help you figure out what the word means. If you're still unsure, look up the word in a dictionary or use a translation app. Write the word down in a notebook, along with its meaning, so you can review it later. As you get more confident, challenge yourself by reading slightly harder books. You don't have to understand every word to enjoy the story. The important thing is to keep reading. Over time, you'll notice that you recognize more words and understand sentences more easily. Another way to improve your reading is by reading English subtitles while watching movies or TV shows. This helps you connect spoken words to their written forms. It's like learning in two ways at once, listening and reading. You can also try reading news articles, blogs, or magazines in English. Choose topics that interest you, whether it's sports, technology, fashion, or travel. When you enjoy what you're reading, it's easier to stay motivated and learn. If you want extra practice, try reading ebooks. Many ebooks have built-in dictionaries, so you can click on a word to see its meaning instantly. This makes it easier to keep reading without losing your place. It's also helpful to set small reading goals. For example, you could read for 10 minutes every day or aim to finish one short story each week. Small goals are easier to achieve and will help you build a daily reading habit. Don't rush when you read. Take your time to understand the story and enjoy it. Reading slowly will help you learn more and remember better. If you're patient and consistent, you'll see great progress in your reading skills. Finally, try to use the new words you learn in your own writing and speaking. This will help you remember them better and understand how to use them in different situations. Reading is a powerful tool for learning English. It improves your vocabulary, grammar, and understanding of the language. Start with easy books, read every day, and enjoy the process. The more you read, the more confident you'll become in English. Thank you for reading this chapter. I hope it inspires you to read more in English and enjoy the journey of learning. Keep practicing, and soon you'll see how much better your English becomes. If it feels difficult at first, keep reading, and over time, you will improve. Remember, the key is consistency. The more you read, the easier it will become. Even if you don't understand everything, just keep going, and you'll start to recognize patterns and learn new words. Another tip is to choose reading material that is interesting to you. If you enjoy what you're reading, you'll be more motivated to keep learning. Don't be afraid to try different types of texts, whether it's books, articles, or even social media posts. Each type will expose you to different vocabulary and styles of writing. If you find a word you don't understand, try to figure it out using the context of the sentence. If you're still not sure, look it up in a dictionary or use an app that provides definitions and example sentences. This will help you remember the word better and understand how to use it. When I was learning English, I also used to highlight the new words I found in my reading. I would then review those words at the end of the week. This strategy helped me track my progress and made me feel more confident in my growing vocabulary. As you continue to read, try to summarize what you've read in your own words. This can be a great exercise to make sure you understood the material and to practice your writing and speaking. You can write a few sentences or even speak about the story or article out loud. It's a simple but effective way to reinforce what you've learned. Lastly, don't be afraid to challenge yourself with slightly more difficult material as your skills improve. Start with easy texts, but gradually try to tackle books or articles with more complex language. With time, your ability to understand and use English will grow. If you don't understand everything, keep reading. Every time you read, you will get better. Your brain is learning, and soon you will be able to read faster and understand more. You can also try reading with the help of audio. Some books and stories come with audio, so you can listen to the story while reading. This helps you learn how to say words correctly. It also helps you understand the story better because you can hear how the words sound. Try to set small reading goals for yourself. For example, you can set a goal to read 1 page every day or to learn 5 new words every time you read. When you reach your goal, you will feel proud of yourself. This will keep you motivated to keep reading. Another fun way to practice reading is by reading comics or graphic novels. They are full of pictures, and the words are simple. Comics help you understand the story because the pictures show what is happening. They also use fun language that makes learning enjoyable. It's important to choose books that are interesting to you. If you enjoy the story, you will want to keep reading. When you want to keep reading, you will learn more. Don't be afraid to read stories that are a little harder. You can always ask someone for help with words you don't understand. The more you read, the better your English will become. Reading helps you learn new words, improve your grammar, and get better at speaking. So read as much as you can and remember to have fun with it. Thank you for reading this chapter. I hope you enjoy reading in English and find it helpful in your learning journey. Keep reading every day, and you will see great progress. I didn't know where to start, but I soon learned that the more I wrote, the better I became. Writing is like speaking. You don't need to worry about mistakes, just practice. Start by writing simple sentences. You can write about your day or something you like. For example, today I went to the park, or I like to play soccer. These are simple sentences, but they help you practice. The important thing is to write every day. If you don't know what to write, try writing about your family, hobbies, or favorite food. It doesn't matter what you write about, as long as you write. You can also write about your dreams or what you did last weekend. Just write whatever is on your mind. When you write, use the words you know. Don't worry if your vocabulary is small. Start with simple words. Over time, your sentences will get longer and better. When I was learning English, I wrote in a small notebook every day. At first, my writing was very simple. I wrote about my school, friends, and family. I also wrote about my goals and dreams. As I practiced, I was able to write more complex sentences. If you make mistakes, it's okay. Mistakes help you learn. After writing, read your sentences again. If you see a mistake, try to fix it. You can also ask a friend, teacher, or family member to check your writing. They can help you correct mistakes and improve. Another good way to practice is to keep a diary or journal. Write about what you did each day or how you feel. This will help you practice writing in a fun way. You don't have to worry about grammar or spelling, just focus on writing. Try to write more than just sentences. Write small paragraphs too. For example, write about what you did last weekend or your favorite movie. A paragraph has a beginning, middle, and end. This helps you learn to organize your thoughts in English. When you write, pay attention to sentence structure. A simple sentence has a subject, verb, and object. For example, I, subject, eat, verb, pizza, object. This shows how English sentences are built. With practice, you will write longer and more complex sentences. You can also practice by answering questions. For example, if you read a story, write your thoughts about it. Answer questions like, "What did you like about the story?" or "What do you think will happen next?" This helps you practice writing and thinking in English. I wrote short stories. They were very simple, but they helped me practice. You can start with short stories too. Write about a person, an animal, or a place. You can even write about something imaginary, like a dream. Another fun way to practice writing is to write letters or emails. Write about your day or ask questions. If you don't have friends who speak English, find someone online. Many people want to practice English with you. You can also use writing exercises to practice. Many websites and apps have exercises for writing short stories, essays, or messages. The more you practice, the better you will get. When you write, use correct punctuation. This makes your writing easier to understand. Use a period at the end of a sentence, a question mark for questions, and commas to separate ideas. Reading aloud helps you find mistakes and improve. Look at other people's writing too. Read books, articles, or even social media posts. Notice how sentences are written and try to use similar ones. This will help you write more naturally in English. Remember, writing gets better with practice. The more you write, the better your sentences will become. Don't be afraid to write every day. Keep a journal, write stories, or send emails. The more you practice, the more confident you will be. Thank you for reading this chapter. I hope you feel excited to start writing in English. It's okay to make mistakes, just keep practicing. Writing is a great way to learn and express yourself in English. Chapter 9. Speaking English with Confidence. Hello. In this chapter, we will talk about speaking English. Speaking is one of the most important skills for learning a new language. It helps you communicate with others and practice the words you know. The more you speak, the better your English will become. When I first started learning English, I was very shy. I was afraid to speak because I thought I might make mistakes. But I learned that making mistakes is okay. It's part of learning. The more I spoke, the more confident I became. If you feel nervous about speaking, don't worry. Start slowly and don't try to be perfect. The important thing is to speak as much as you can. Try to practice every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. You can start with simple sentences, such as, "My name is Anna," or, "I am learning English." Practice these sentences until you feel comfortable. Then, you can add more sentences as you learn new words. One way to practice is by talking to yourself. It might feel strange, but it works. You can say things like, "I am going to the store," or, "I like to play soccer." This helps you feel comfortable using English. Another great way to practice speaking is by finding a speaking partner. If you have a friend or family member who speaks English, ask them to practice with you. Talk about simple topics like your day, hobbies, or favorite food. If you don't have anyone to speak with, you can find people online. Many websites and apps let you talk to people from different countries. This is a fun way to practice speaking and listening at the same time. I practiced with a friend who spoke well, and we talked every day. I made mistakes, but my friend helped me by correcting them. This helped me improve faster. If you don't have a partner, you can talk to a teacher or tutor. They can help you with pronunciation and grammar. You can also practice by repeating what you hear in songs, movies, or shows. Listen to English as much as you can. paying attention to how words are said and how sentences are formed. The more you listen, the better your speaking will become. Listening also helps you understand the meaning of words. You can also practice by reading aloud. Pick a short story or article and read it out loud. This helps you with pronunciation and sentence structure. It also makes you feel more confident when speaking. Don't worry if you make mistakes while speaking, everyone makes mistakes. Even fluent speakers do. Learn from your mistakes and keep going. Each mistake helps you improve. Speaking English might feel hard at first, but it will get easier with practice. Take small steps and speak a little every day. Over time, you will become more confident. Another way to practice is to join a language group. Many cities have groups where people meet to practice English together. You can also find online groups to practice speaking virtually. If you don't understand something while speaking, ask questions. You can say, "Can you repeat that?" or "What does that word mean?" Asking questions shows you are trying to learn. One helpful tip is to think in English. At first, this might be hard, but it gets easier over time. Thinking in English helps you speak naturally without translating from your first language. When speaking, try to speak slowly and clearly. This makes it easier for others to understand you. Don't worry about your accent. It's okay. The most important thing is communication. A fun way to practice speaking is to tell a story. Talk about something that happened to you or make up a story. This helps you practice speaking in complete sentences and organizing your thoughts in English. Finally, be patient with yourself. Learning to speak a new language takes time. Don't expect to be perfect right away. Keep practicing, and you will improve. Thank you for reading this chapter. I hope you feel excited to start speaking English. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you speak, the better your English will become. Chapter 10. Reading in English. Hello. In this chapter, we will talk about reading in English. Reading is a great way to improve your English. It helps you learn new words, understand grammar, and see how sentences are made. The more you read, the better your English will become. When I first started learning English, I wasn't a good reader. I didn't understand many words, and it was hard to follow the story, but I didn't give up. I started with easy books with pictures and simple stories. Slowly, I became better at reading. If you are a beginner, start with books that are easy to understand. Books with pictures are great because they help you understand the story. You can look at the pictures and guess what the words mean. This makes reading more fun and helps you learn new words. There are many books for beginners. You can start with short stories or books for children. These books use simple words, and the stories are easy to follow. You can also find graded readers. Graded readers are books written for people who are learning English. They are divided into levels, so you can choose the one that is right for you. When you read, try to understand the main idea of the story. Don't worry. If you don't understand every word, you can look up the words you don't know later. The most important thing is to understand what is happening in the story. At first, reading might feel slow, but don't worry. The more you read, the faster you will become. Just keep going and try to read every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. The more you practice, the better you will get. When you come across a word you don't know, don't skip it. Try to figure out the meaning from the context. Look at the other words in the sentence and think about what makes sense. If you still don't understand the word, look it up in a dictionary. You can also ask someone for help. Sometimes when I didn't understand a word, I would guess what it meant by looking at the other words in the sentence. For example, if I read, "She put the book on the table," I knew the word put meant place, even if I didn't know it at first. This helped me understand the story and learn new words. Another good idea is to read aloud. When you read out loud, it helps you improve your pronunciation and practice speaking. It also helps you understand the meaning of the words better. If you don't understand a word, try reading the sentence again. Reading aloud helps you remember the words. When you finish a story, think about what happened in it. Try to tell someone the main idea of the story in your own words. This will help you practice speaking and make sure you understand the story. You can also write about the story in your notebook. It's also helpful to read different kinds of things. For example, you can read books, magazines, websites, or newspapers. Reading different types of texts helps you learn different kinds of vocabulary. You will learn words for various topics like food, sports, work, or travel. This will help you understand many different situations. I used to read short articles in English on the internet. These articles were easy to understand, and I learned a lot of new words. Sometimes, I would read a story in the newspaper. These stories were a little harder, but I enjoyed them. Reading different things made me better at English. You can also read stories with a friend. You can take turns reading sentences or paragraphs. This is a fun way to practice together. After reading, you can talk about the story and share your thoughts. This helps you understand the story better and practice speaking at the same time. If you find reading hard, don't give up. Just keep practicing. Start with easy books, and as you get better, you can try reading harder books. Over time, you will notice that reading becomes easier, and you will understand more words. It's important to be patient with yourself. You can also use online tools to help you. There are websites and apps that offer free books and articles in English. Some apps let you highlight words you don't know and give you their meanings. This is a great way to learn new words while reading. One tip is to read a book or story more than once. The first time you read it, you might not understand everything, but when you read it again, you will remember the words you learned. You will also start to understand the story better. Rereading helps you improve as a reader. The more you read, the more you will start to recognize words quickly. Your brain will remember the words, and you won't need to think about them as much. You will also become better at understanding the meaning of sentences, which will make reading even more fun. Reading is also a great way to learn grammar. When you read, you see how sentences are formed. You learn how to use different tenses, prepositions, and other grammar rules. The more you read, the more you will understand grammar. It's like learning without even trying. It's also important to keep track of the new words you learn. You can write them down in a notebook, along with their meaning and an example sentence. You can review this notebook whenever you want. This will help you remember the words and use them correctly. Thank you for reading this chapter. I hope you feel inspired to start reading more in English. Remember, reading helps you learn new words, understand grammar, and become a better English speaker.